Part two of how our cleaning lady stole my wedding rings, purses, money, gift cards, food, you name it. Because I'm a pansy, I'm like, before we call the cops, I want to give her a chance to give the stuff back. So I sent her a text message and I was like, hey, I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what's going on. I don't know anything. However, if there's any way that you have this stuff, can you please return it to me? I'll give you 1 week. I don't care if you mail it. I don't care if you drop it off. I don't care what happens. I just want the stuff back. I'm not looking to get you in any trouble. I just want my stuff back. Shockingly, I got no response. In the meantime, my one friend started noticing stuff of hers that was missing. Day 7 comes around, we call the police come, ask us a bunch of questions, we have a detective and stuff. Because of the cost of my ring and the stuff that she had stolen, it would be like a felony charge, and so they were taking this a little bit more seriously. They had noticed that we had like what looked like security cameras in our house, but they're actually motion detectors, and they were like, oh dang, if you would have had those, we would have been able to catch it red-handed, and a thing went off in my head. So I sent her a message and I was like, hey, before I hand this all over to an investigator, we have cameras in our house. It's going to be caught red-handed. They're going to come at you 10 times harder. I'm not looking to press any charges. I literally just want my stuff back. Can you please just, if you have this, can you please just give it back or just let us know what's going on? Because otherwise I'm handing this over and you're going to get in a lot more trouble than if you just like come forward. And I hear nothing. My other friends had already started pressing charges, but the lump sum of what she stole from us is what pushed her over to a felony. And so they were really hoping that I was gonna like go forward with pressing charges. The detective started going around and looking at different pawn shops to see if she tried to pawn my rings off, and every single one, because mine was like custom made, they're like, they would never accept that, except one who was like, yeah, actually someone was in here and I turned this ring down, but they were in here 2 days ago. So then the detective obviously went and spoke to her, and she was like hardcore denial. But after they said that they had proof, she quickly blamed her stepdaughter. Said the stepdaughter had gone to a couple of our houses with her, and she had a past where she had stolen someone's engagement ring at one point, so she was like the perfect scapegoat for her to use. And so she led hard with that storyline. And all of us were like, there was never a daughter in our homes. They went and spoke to the stepdaughter, and the stepdaughter was like, I don't even speak to her. I hate her. I loathe her. I can't stand her. Like, I was never at a cleaning job with her. Now, the scary part that comes into play came out of left field. The detective was like, FYI, the whole time I'm talking to her, all she kept asking was she was going to lose her license to carry. Me being naive, I'm like, what is a license to carry? Pew pew. And he's like, that was a red flag to me, that like literally everything that we're discussing, the only thing she kept asking is if she was going to lose her gun. And I'm like, well, what does that mean for me? He's like, well, I kept telling her that you were kind of spearheading this case in regards to if I press charges or not determines what kind of trouble she gets. And that I'm not looking to press charges, I just want my stuff. So 2 days later, the mailman shows up with a package that didn't have any postage with it. And at that point, we had a family member that was sending us stuff that didn't have postage with it, and it was junk and we didn't want it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not paying for this one. I'm good. And he's like, no, it's not actually from them. It's from an unknown sender. And I'm like, well, what is it? What is it? And he's like, I don't know. It feels like a bag. And I'm like, a bag? I'm like hyperventilating, freaking out. And I'm trying to tell him the story. And he's like, open it. And I'm like, I got to pay you first. He's like, I know you're good for it. And so we're opening it up, and there's my purse. And then he had 3 other packages with more purses. So I'm freaking out, and he was like, check the pockets, maybe the rings are in there.